All right, I'm waiting. All right, I am on IAAH radio. Tune in here today with Know Your Truth Real Talk with me, JudgeDesire for Knowledge. I probably haven't gotten on YouTube yet. It takes a second or so. Moderator, are you available to let me know if I am on? All right, it takes about a 20-second delay. Hi, IAAH Radio Plus. How are you all out there doing? I'm JudgeDesire for Knowledge. Thank you for coming and checking me out on this channel with the best DJs and the best music in town. Thank you, DJ 5am. All right, I am now on YouTube. Hi, my subscribers. Hola, mi amores. How are you? Great. Do you hear the background? All right, so I have neighbors that are actually blowing the leaves of fall, of course. This is a nice day out and the only time that they have to do it, but we're going to get it on. The show will not stop. So thank you for joining me, JudgeDesire for Knowledge, on another episode of Know Your Truth, Real Talk. So this week of Know Your Truth, Real Talk, as I stated, thank you, IAAH Radio, for tuning in as well. I got to you first because it took a 20-second delay. But this week on relationships, I decided to do another segment on relationships, which I have a whole bunch of them. If you go check me my YouTube channel, you'll see it starts with on relationships, and there are different diverse topics for you to go check out. Whichever topic resonates with you, go check that out. It's pretty cool. So this week I'm putting up this episode, Let Them Go. Okay, let people go who did not and do not stand with you. For instance, have you ever in your life felt alone at work, in a relationship, in your marriage, in your career or workplace, where no one stood up for you or with you? I know I've been there once. Everyone has, at least in one of these categories that I just chose. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, those categories and those people that has experience or it resonates with you in one of these areas. So I figured, hey, let me bring this out there because, like I said, in all my shows, most of them, that I bring this show forward from the experiences of my personal work life experience, family experience, whatever, and other people's experience. So you won't know which one I may tell you if it belongs to me or I own it, but I don't have to. But normally, most of this definitely is from experience I've either seen or actually went through. And what happens here is when you don't want someone else to feel the pain of being alone or not stood up for, in this category anyway, because I got a whole bunch of videos that you could go check on the other categories, because everybody's been on one of those. And I said, well, let me help people out here so that they can see that it is a problem. You don't just let it slide and then you're friends tomorrow. These signs are telling you something, and we all here to learn and grow from our experiences and from the lessons it's teaching us. So with that being said, because make it make sense if you just allow people to walk over you and have no boundaries. Like I have another segment of boundaries. Go check that out because I didn't realize boundaries years ago. I'm young. I was too young then, and I'm still young now, but I allowed people to do what they want. I didn't set boundaries, just like say that. And I see a lot of people don't do that in family relationships or anything actually, or at work. And so I realized that I was allowing people to step over me. And I didn't want to become, because I really dislike people pleasers. You know, whatever they say goes and you have to agree with them or they don't like you no more. Don't like me anymore. I could care less. I'm good. I'm good by myself. I'm not a follower. I'm a leader. I love people, but I will not have people, command my time and worth into your ideologies of what you think is right and wrong, because you're a people pleaser and you're going to sit there and say everything is right or everything is wrong. And if we don't agree with you, it's over. So these are just examples of when you know you need to set up boundaries, either to end relationships like that, situationships, situationships. That's a good one. Like that, wherever it is in your personal life, in your workplace, in your um, career, or wherever, it will do you good because then you become mature. It's called maturity. It's called growing up. And we can grow up at different stages and ages in our lives. Some people don't grow up so fast mentally, and some people they're quick on growing up maturely and mentally. But like I said, these are all lessons. So when you felt like you were making a difference in someone's life besides your own, and were taking advantage of it because of it, whether it's in your workplace or in a relationship, this episode is the steps will guide you to transform that pain into gain. I hope, because it helped me. So I took a few steps of what I actually experience from other people. I combined it, and I created a guide or steps you could call it, because it's not a guide. You don't have to follow everything. These are just suggestions. All right. Like I said, know your truth, real talk. This talk show is about we all bringing our truth together and creating harmony, peace, love, and happiness. And what you could do with that is grow. It's not facts. Some of it will be. I'll let you know when it's a fact. But it's your opinions, and we can come together with all our opinions. Know your truth, okay? Bring your truth and not bring mine. So if your truth is different, that's fine. I'm open to it. I don't have a people pleasing my mentality, or a one way look at things. I'm not partial. I'm impartial. So with that being said, my first step was first you acknowledge the hurt. What happened hurt you. You own it. You own that it hurt you, and here's why: because you don't want to own things that hurt you, and when you don't, then you allow it to happen repeatedly. So when you deny telling yourself the truth, you are not learning the lesson from that thing or that person that hurt you. If it wasn't a small hurt, if it wasn't just how they are, and I know your feelings are valid. So you need to know that you can't heal by minimizing, you heal by recognizing. And that's something I learned a little while ago. You heal by recognizing it, not minimizing it. And so that's where we move forward in life. Another identifier is, to my step number 2, is identify the category of their behaviors. Uh, um, Identify the category of their behaviors. Character is important too, so always make sure you see the character of someone. Like who we elect in office. If you're electing people based on race or money or what their social background is, what they have in their pockets, and you think you're going to get it. I'm just going to make this part short because I didn't plan to bring this in here. I go based on character, and if your character showed me something, I don't need to vote for you, which is why a lot of people in office today, you know who, I'm not going to mention, I saw their character and it played out. That's all I'm going to say. And there's a lot of politicians in those characters that we actually vote for. Some of us did not. Check the person's character out, and remember next voting election day, remember those characters before you put in your vote in the poll. All right. So now we're going to go back to, and that's education right there for you. Let them show you who they are, because talk is cheap. All right. So the characteristics are very important, and people let it fly over their head. I remember when I never looked. Well, I always did, I think, look at people's character. But when you just want to pass their character and say, well, I like this person, I'm just going to minimize that. Well, this is what I'm talking about here. Do not minimize. We cannot do that. We don't heal that way. Like if a thief is a thief, he's a thief. If someone's a felon and convicted of being a felon, they're a felon. No, there's no going back on that. It's if a duck is a duck and it quacks, it's a duck, right? I'm sorry. Good afternoon. Hi. Who are you? Oh, hi. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. I was on the topic of my second step on people that didn't stand up for you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, IAAH Radio. Let me just interrupt to say subscribe and share, please, and like this video if you like it so that it can go around to those in need of it. I'm sorry for my background sound right now. It's not intentional, believe me. We just take care of our properties here, and this guy's been going for some time. I think there's so many leaves and so many trees. Unlike New York, where I was born, I don't have any other way but to hear this when we come outside. But it's a beautiful day today, and it hasn't been good for a while. And we'll probably be seeing winter very soon. So I took the last opportunity for me um, with this great weather in nature, as I love nature. So I always come out when, even when it's a little brisk. But either way, thanks for joining everyone. I'm Judge Desire for Knowledge. If you're new here, hooray, thank you. Come check me out every Saturday at 3 o'clock on YouTube and IAAH Radio Plus. Download the app and come tune in at 3 for Know Your Truth, Real Talk, Legal Matters, and whatever else comes up. All right. So my second step was identify the category of their behavior. That's really important. Like accidental, they froze or didn't know how to support you during this time that you needed them to support you. You yourself can communicate and educate to them, hey, I identified that you weren't there for me. Self-protection. They were afraid. Maybe they were afraid or backlash or consequences for defending you. If they did, that they would have a backlash or consequences were going to happen if they was to speak up for you. Well, you learn to evaluate empathy versus cowardness. This is what you need to do. You need to learn to evaluate that, whether it was empathy versus cowardice, meaning they're a coward, because some people are people pleasers and they're too scared of other people not being their friends or colleagues, whichever category this goes in for you or resonates with you. Distance yourself and reassess roles, okay? Because it's very important that you, when people that you think your friends, your partner, relationships, or your coworker, your bestie, and they don't do this, is really not good. So you might need to distance yourself and reassess roles here. Um, if it's a malicious action, they liked you being supported, or did they intentionally do this? Do they want to support you, or was it malicious? You should cut off. If it was maliciously done and they could care less, but they play like a friend, then you should cut off access to you. You cut off access to you, of course, from them. Because you know what? I'm not giving anyone my energy or my access that maliciously allowed something to happen and didn't stand by me in a very crucial time that's needed, wherever that may be. If we're talking about generalizing anyone or people, places, workplace, and people that has not stand up and had you stand up by yourself for, and if it was a bad thing, then we understand. But for a good cause, or maybe it was for, I need your support, and you weren't there by my side. You my colleague, you're my husband, you're my wife, or you're my girlfriend, or you're my boyfriend, or you're my coworker. The same thing. um, these are the people that you actually care about. If you didn't care about them, then that's different. But if they're supposed to be the type of person you expected to stand up and stand by you and stand up for you, then it is important that you see this. Um, don't treat all failures of loyalty the same, because they aren't. This is why you have to look within yourselves and see if that's what it is for you. The third step is evaluate the content. Ask yourself, were they normally supportive but failed once? That's what I was saying. If they failed once, okay, hey, but if this is repeatedly not showed up for you when you needed them, that's different for me. If it's repeated, I'm married or not married, or in a relationship, or it's a coworker, and I'm standing there and they're not standing up for me, and it's all the time, I would think about that. And also, do they stand up for others but not me? Yeah, I've seen that happen as well. Yeah, because these patterns matter more than moments. Don't forget that patterns matter more than moments. So remember the pattern and not the moment. All right, in case it has happened more than once. My fourth step is communicate only if appropriate. Okay, if you want to appropriately communicate with that person, not to chase loyalty. You're doing it not to chase loyalty, but for clarity, because some people need that. Or some people just drop off and say, you know what, I don't need you as a friend no more. But sometimes you're going to need that clarity. So instead of just saying, okay, I'm not going to talk to them, because you're not going to want to go back later and talk to them if you're really upset. You would want to ask for clarity first, and not to chase loyalty for clarity, okay? Because you're chasing for clarity, not loyalty, I should say. You, yes, indeed. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just reading it. So, for instance, when you're checking that out and you want to know if it's clarity, not just loyalty, clarity is important. You want to clarify, did this person really not stand by me? Or I don't care about my loyalty, their loyalty to me right now. It's more important that I clarify exactly what why they didn't address the situation. So, for instance, you would say, I would ask the person, or you would ask the person, I felt unsupported when, and whatever that incident was, I expected you to have my back. I just want to understand what happened. That's getting clarity. You're not begging, you're observing their character, which I stated was very important, to observe characters when you're keeping people close by you. It's really important. Number five, step five, watch the response, okay? Because signs they don't deserve, because they don't watch the response and the signs, I should say, because they don't deserve your space, time, or energy. So you gotta watch the responses. If they blame you, if they minimize your experience that you have, like their experience is more than your experience, you're just trying to find out and clarify information, and they're already blaming you. They're minimizing your experience. If they gaslight you, sorry, it's like, for instance, oh, you're too naive or too sensitive. I can't, tell you how I feel. Yeah, they're not actually giving you clarification, right? If they get defensive instead of reflective meaning reflecting on the mistake of not supporting you. It's that easy. Why are you defensive? So those are the signs that may be room to rebuild the relationship, friendship, work situation, or whatever, or not. Okay, either they take accountability, or they show remorse, or they correct behavior, so you all can move forward. Because I wouldn't want someone on my side that has not stand up for me in whatever relationship it is. It doesn't have to be just a relationship in partnership, or business, co-workers, or whatever. Any relationship, a family, I would need your support. We're buddies. We're good friends. We hang out, we talk together. Then I would expect you to speak up. All right. So the sixth step here is adjust access. No, no what? Wow, these things, no wishy-washy people. Yeah, we don't like wishy-washy people, right, guys? No, not at all. So step six says adjust access, not punishment. Okay, setting those boundaries. Okay, stop communication if they are unwilling to grow, and give yourself emotional distance if they are unreliable but harmless. So you can keep friendship, but if you continue to see these patterns still creating itself, then you'll know. Reduce access if they repeat the behavior, and complete removal if they disrespect, betray you, or are malicious when doing so. Um, Loyalty should not be given where loyalty is not returned, which is one of my biggest things. If you're loyal to someone and they're not loyal to you, whether it's friendship, relationship, or colleagues, family, the strengthen. You have to think about what loyalty means to you, I should say. Um, if you want to strengthen the to be cohesive together as friends, or whatever the case may be, to come together, not doubting that I should speak up or you should speak up for someone else, or stand up. If that person really needs you at that time, then I'm that girl. I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna stand up for what's right. If it's wrong, that's different. We're not talking about that here. But people that don't step up for when it's right, and they're your friend, or whatever capacity we mentioned here, Basically, you're going to want to rethink, why are you friends with this person, married to this person, dating this person, working with this person, or whatever the case may be. So now, as I was saying, loyalty should not be given where loyalty is not returned. I have step 7 here, which strengthens your standards. Here's how you're going to strengthen your standards. You're going to create a personal rule. All right. This rule will say, I do not keep people who disappear when I need them. That's really smart. You have to. It's like having boundaries. You can make up your own. I'm just giving you an example. And then you can include some standard outcomes after this happens to you. If they don't defend you in public, they don't get in they don't get to in private. That's really important. If they don't defend you in public, they don't get to do it in private. Because you know how you were out there with everybody and they didn't stand up for you and defend you. But as long as you and them are together by themselves, by yourselves, now they're defending you in front of nobody. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. These are outcome standards that you need to create that you cannot allow. If they don't defend you in public, they don't get to in private. If you have to beg for support, it's not loyalty, it's dependency. And you don't want codependency, right? If you carry others but they drop you, stop carrying them. Stop carrying them. I've seen this happen with even friends and family. You keep carrying these same people that's going to mistake. They're going to keep repeatedly doing it because they know that they can walk on you. You've become their welcome mat. And that's what's sad. We don't want to be walked on by no one. So go get boundaries. If you don't know what that is, the word of boundaries, you can look that up in Google, or you could go see my videos right now. It's where you don't allow people to overwalk your territories, type of thing. Metaphorically, I'm trying to say you would not allow someone to take advantage of you, walk all over you, because you set your boundaries. You said no. That's setting boundaries. And sometimes it's hard for people to say no. They say yes too much. I don't like a yeser. All right. Sometimes there's a no, and no is good. Believe me, it's real powerful. So even to your children, when my children were born and they were little, I told them no because they needed to learn that word. Because if you don't teach your children that word from the household, someone else will. And they're not going to know that word. They're not adjusted and used to it. And this is what we got going on out here when crime and stuff, they were never told no. So that's a really important step, to know how to say no and have boundaries. All right. So replace hurt. Oh, I'm sorry. Like I said, if you carry others, but they drop you, stop carrying. Now, step number 8 is choose your power, not your pain, okay? And move forward and stronger. Replace resentment with boundaries, replace expectations with standards, and replace hurt with higher self regard. When you say higher self regard, I have videos on that: self care, self love. Until we learn that, people will walk over us and people will step over our boundaries. Even if we create it, they try. That's when you know, if you've created boundaries and they're still stepping, oh no, it's time. No, adios. No, goodbye. Ciao. I'll see you around, because I'm not going to have that if I've already created boundaries. Now, if you've never created boundaries, start doing so, because this is what happens when people can take advantage of you and they know they can do it. They'll keep doing it. All right. And then you will look simple and naive and easy and someone's walking mat, and you don't want to be that. So with that being said, choose your power, not your pain. Move forward stronger and replace resentment with boundaries, replace expectations with standards, and replace hurt with higher self-regard. That's where self-love comes in. People teach you who they are by how they show you when the stakes are high. They show you who they are. They show up when the stakes are high, then that's different. But they will teach you who they are. Believe that and follow that. Know that, because you don't want to have to experience that again with anyone, not at a workplace, not in a relationship, not in a marriage. If you not fulfilled in your marriage and you ended that marriage and you got married again, or whatever the case is, you don't want to repeat it. You learned your lesson, but if you let that lesson fly over your head and you didn't learn it, then these are the things that happens to you because you haven't practiced self-love, care and stuff that's needed to replace the hurt from what you've had in the past. Yeah, the sun, I love the sun, had that happen. Yeah, I've had that happen. Exactly. Most of us have. And some of us will admit it. That's when you're mature. And some of us will act like, nah, not me. That didn't happen because I'm too good and blah, blah. Ego will take over. So until you learn to accept what's happened to you and move forward, then you stay stuck. And the next person comes, you're always going to be stuck. And you're going to think it's that relationship when it's really you, because you have not put up boundaries to stop them. So people teach you, like I said, who you are, who they are, and how they show up when the stakes are high. All right. Um, I'm going to go and move on now to how to use these boundaries for family, work, and relationships. And we're going to start with family boundaries. When they dismiss your feelings, let them know you are sharing your feelings because it matters to you, and you need them to listen and acknowledge what you're saying, not minimize it. When they guilt trip you, tell them you love them, but guilt isn't going to sway your decisions. Let's talk with respect, not pressure or anger. That's really important, because sometimes you don't want to let go of family members, but sometimes they can be. I've seen a lot. I won't discuss a lot of things here, but I've looked at family bloodlines and blood and people that didn't have blood family relatives, and I'm like, what? Who taught you that? Go watch those shows. Who taught you that? And things like that. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing to see that, you have the same bloodline with somebody, but they wouldn't stand up for you, um, unless it's something negative. I'm talking about positive here. I try not to bring negative to my channel. So when you're speaking on positivity, you're going to want someone to stand up for you and stand up with you. So with family, this is what I couldn't understand, why people that have the same blood would, and they guilt trip you. If they do, tell them you love them, but guilt isn't going to sway your decision. Let's talk with respect and not pressure or anger. These could be family, could be anything: marriages, husbands, wives, cousins, uncles, children. Even, you got to stand your ground. That guilt trip doesn't work. A lot of people and families like to act like they're entitled to everything you have and whoever you are and whatever, that you owe them something, so they bring guilt trips. And that's a sad thing I've seen in family ties. I have a show on that too. Go check that video out. When they silent when others mistreat you, it's harsh, because that's your family. Let them know when they stay silent, it hurts. That going forward would mean respect, support, or you will have to remove yourself from the situation. And you see what's wrong with some families? They feel like if you remove yourself from the situation and don't talk to them anymore, that you're dropping them and stuff, so that they can continue to do what they do and guilt trip you and treat you the way that you don't deserve to be treated. It's easy for some of us to just say, oh, we could drop family, and it's easy for us to stay with them. But who's it hurting? If it's hurting you, then you got to make that choice yourself. If you're going to decide to keep a family member, either at a distance or around you all the time, that does not stand up for you. That's a hard one, but you know what? At some point, boundaries, baby, boundaries. I'm telling you, it's going to work for you and your families, because those, if anything, we're going to work at is going to be family, right? And then we work too hard and they're not, then you know what the answer is to that. I'm not going to answer that here, but I know myself. So, and who taught you that? Yeah, that's my line right there, right? Okay, and so that's what I have to say on family boundaries. Now we're going to go to the workplace boundaries. When coworkers stay quiet and let you take the hit. Ooh, how many of us went through that in that moment, or have seen someone else go through that? In that moment, you needed team support. In the future, you will need an alignment when addressing shared responsibilities. So, what this is saying is, because I wrote this out when I felt that team support is needed. So, in the future, if this happened to you where they let you take the hit, you're going to have to reevaluate okay, what am I going to do in the future if this happened to me again? I know who I can't trust. It's good when you have coworkers because they're not your family. You like them, but you come to work, not make friends. So sometimes you have to keep that distance, and it's easier than family to say, you know what, I'm gonna address this situation a little different next time. And I know my enemies. It's good when you find out who your enemies really are. It works. It really does. It's the most beautiful thing because they'll be right there acting like a friend, and they're really a frenemy. So you got to be careful with that. Um, when someone oversteps their boundaries in your workplace, tell them you appreciate their input, but that you're handling this task and you'll let them know if and when you need assistance. Because I've seen this happen when they think that they can be of help to you, but you know what you're doing in your career. You have the title or not. You're doing your job effectively, but some coworker or someone else wants to come because they feel better, their ego, it helps them out. Who knows why? But the whole point is when that occurs to you, in whatever capacity of work you have, when they overstep themselves, telling you that what your job and what it is you're supposed to be doing, unless they're your supervisor or your manager, you can tell them that you're handling this task and you know how to do it, and you'll let them know if and when you need their assistance, because that's how egotistical people are. And when leadership, meaning the supervisors and managerial titles, people feel to back you on this, tell them support and clarity are essential for your role, and in the future explain you need direct backing when handling responsibilities professionally, because they will also trap you too. So be very careful of supervisors that are jealous and managerial people in those positions, because everything is about titles to people here, and at the end it's not going to mean a thing. You're getting paid, you're eating, some get paid, but their titles mean more than everything. Really? That, what does that say of me though? I can't. um You can't make this stuff up. Who taught you that? So when someone speaks over you at work, um, just say nicely, I wasn't finished. Let me complete my point. Then I'm open to hearing yours, because I know people like to get the attention when you're doing so well. And if they can grab your inventions and your ideas, they'll do it that way. So be very careful, and they'll take the credit for it. I've seen that as well. And when they try to drag you into drama, gossip and stuff like that, stay focused on solutions and professionalism, and tell them that I'm not participating in that conversation. I've done that before because I'm not a people pleaser. And when you do not participate in that conversation, you lose peers. But who cares? Who wants to participate in gossip all day? I got other things to do, and it's not about gossiping about other people. Because if you, as I said in my other shows, if you gossip about me, oh wow, the sun rays are beautiful. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you see me there? If you gossip about me, about others, you're gossiping about me. So why would I want to be a part of that? No. Wow. The sun must be going down. It's beautiful here. All right. So the last one is relationship boundaries. And this could be any relationship, marriage or not marriage, relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend. When your partner doesn't defend you, oof, imagine that in a relationship. Now, that's the hardest one, right? Let me see. Can you see me now? Yeah, wow, that sunburst, that was beautiful. That rainbow, you saw that? It was beautiful. All right, I had to fix this right here. All right, let me go on. When your partner doesn't defend you, tell them how you feel when someone disrespects you and they don't speak up, because it damages trust. I see you. Thank you. It damages trust. So this is on relationship boundaries. When your partner doesn't defend you, tell them how you feel. When someone disrespects you and they don't speak up, it really is hard on a lot of people. Myself, if it happens, it damages trust. You tell them, I need a partner who stands up for me. Ask them if they agree to handle the situation differently going forward, because that's really important no matter where I put this. Ooh. All right, guys, I'm going to have to move over. Oh, that sun is coming out. I'm gonna try to rush this. All right, so they agree. You need to ask your partner if they will agree to handle the situation differently going forward. So, in other words, and then hopefully it doesn't happen again. But if it did, you need to talk to them. You need to ask them, is this going to be a repeat? Or will you be handling your job as my partner? All right. When they invalidate your feelings, tell them that they do not have to agree with your feelings, but you need them to be respected. Understanding first, and problem solving is second. So you got to understand, and then we do the problem solving. That's what happens in relationships. You work together, not separately. When communication is unhealthy, that's a lot of communication could get unhealthy when you all are angry at each other. Um, Let them know you don't communicate through yelling, sarcasm, or blame. Take a moment if you need it, and then we can talk calmly. And it's hard for some people. I've had that difficulty in the past. I'm learning still. But when you're angry. And so this is the proper way to coming to a healthy communication between you and your partner. Creating the boundaries that you do not yell at each other. Those are boundaries. Not just saying no, that we talk. Boundaries is everything that you want it to be. All right, that is healthy. Um, when they ignore your needs, say to them, my needs matter. I'm sharing them with you and expecting a partnership, not a pushback. So it's a lot for some men that they don't communicate as much, and there's women that don't either. But when they don't, and they don't share, you need to tell them that you feel your needs are ignored, and that the matter here is in sharing, and you expect a partnership, not a pushback. That we can work together, communicate together, right? And to build together. This has to go both ways because it's two people in a partnership, right? If you're by yourself, then what's the sense? I mean, if you're not going to communicate together that's not a partnership. Um, and when consequences are needed, because there will be, because consequences are needed when things like that happen between partnerships. And so tell them you have set the boundaries before. This is especially if you have done this and they know it. And if it's crossed again, that you'll step back from this conversation slash relationship dynamic because you are not respecting your boundaries. My boundaries, your boundaries. You're not respecting it. This isn't punishment, it's protecting my peace. That's what you need to say. It is not punishment, it's respecting my peace. Those are boundaries that I just gave you. Core boundary rules, okay, that is needed in every relationship on earth. The boundary rules, if someone repeatedly fails to protect you, protect yourself. Your peace is not negotiable, non negotiable, right? Just like the check. Say this affirmation to yourself: I release anyone who couldn't honor me when it mattered. My heart and friendship are earned, not giving. And then there's other affirmations you could create. I just use that as an example because when you're taught to love yourself, looking within, self care, self love, um, that's when you're gonna explore yourself and realize that you're too important to allow certain things in your life um, to go over, step over your boundaries. Like if you didn't create boundaries, you're gonna learn to do that once you practice self love and self interest, not self. And I don't mean self interest where you become self centered. But if you don't love yourself, how can you love others? It's not going to be easy because some people think that they love themselves and they really don't. Once you do the self care for yourself, you'll realize how much it's going to help you realize why haven't you created boundaries before? I mean, why? you know? So we weren't taught that growing up. It happens. So it's good when you can get on these channels on YouTube and IAH Radio Plus and have someone come out like me, JudgeDesire Knowledge, to teach you these things because I've been there, I've done that, I've seen that work experience, personal experience, family experience, life experience, right? So please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Like it, please. I need all the likes I can get for it to get to the people that actually need it. We have a lot of foolishness out there, and somebody needs to hear the truth. So that's why it's called Know Your Truth, Real Talk, right? So with that being said, I'm about to go grill. So I'm going to get off of here because I have a good grill going on soon. I'm about to do some chicken infused with honey ginger. Ooh, marinated. So go check out my short grill that I did on YouTube and all my social media channels. Facebook, follow me on there. Judge Desire for Knowledge. All right. It was fun. Thank you guys for listening on IAAH Radio Plus. Thank you, DJ 5am. Go check out the best DJs and the best music in town. DJ Buggin' Hard is on there. I know on Mixcloud as well. My hubby, he's good. Go check him out on YouTube as well. Give him some views. He doesn't need it, but the music is hot. And so with that being said, I guess this is have a good weekend. Arrivederci. Ciao. I will see you. Adios. And whatever other ways to say it. Oh, I did wanted to include a very fast that with the situation going on with people not being able to eat, SNAP, and all these things that I heard about, there is a Plentiful app if you need a place to go to get food and a food bank, and if you want to contribute, because that's what we need to do to contribute to people right now and beat whatever is going on in politics, and help each other out. So pull down the app Plentiful, put in your location, and you should be able to get food pantries, food banks to get help, and you can bring your own food. Ask them if you can help them in any way or form so that you can help us, our people, our neighbors. Everyone is one. So I wanted to say that at the end. I thank you for listening, bringing you the truth and nothing but the truth. Here's my gavel. On Know Your Truth, Real Talk with me, Judge Desire for Knowledge. I will see you on the next one, next week, Saturday at 3. The Know Your Truth, Real Talk is now adjourned. Ciao.